My name is Daniel. Today, I want to share my real journey of learning English. I was not born with good English. I was not a confident speaker. I was not the kind of person who could open his mouth and speak naturally. In the beginning, English felt like a wall in front of me. I could read a little. I could understand some simple sentences. I knew grammar rules. I knew many words. But when someone asked me to speak, my mind became empty. My tongue stopped. My confidence disappeared. I wanted to say something, but the words did not come out. And the worst part was this. I was using social media every day. I was watching videos for hours. I was scrolling, laughing, liking, saving, and sharing. But my English was not improving. One day, I asked myself a serious question. If I'm already spending so much time on social media, why am I not using it to improve my English? That question changed everything. I realized that social media can waste your time, but it can also educate you. It depends on how you use it. The same phone that distracts one person can train another person. The same app that wastes someone's day can become another person's classroom. So I decided to use social media differently. I stopped using it only for entertainment. I started using it as my English teacher. I used short videos to improve my listening. I used captions to improve my reading. I used comments to practice writing. I used voice notes to practice speaking. I used reels, podcasts, interviews, and English creators to train my brain every day. Slowly, social media became my classroom. My phone became my teacher. My daily scrolling became daily learning. And step by step, I started becoming a fluent English speaker. This is not a story about becoming perfect in one day. This is not a story about magic. This is a story about small habits, daily practice, smart use of social media, and never giving up. If you are also learning English, this story can help you. Because maybe you do not need more excuses. Maybe you need a better system. Maybe you do not need to stop using social media completely. Maybe you need to use it wisely. So let me tell you how my journey started. Chapter 1. The day I realized my phone was not the problem. Before I improved my English, I had one big problem. I thought my phone was destroying my focus. Every day, I used to pick up my phone for just 5 minutes. But 5 minutes became 30 minutes. 30 minutes became 1 hour. 1 hour became 2 hours. I watched funny videos. I watched random reels. I watched people dancing, traveling, eating, joking, and living perfect-looking lives. At the end of the day, my eyes were tired, my mind was full, but my life was the same. My English was the same. My confidence was the same. My speaking was the same. And deep inside, I felt guilty. I used to tell myself, Daniel, you are wasting your time again. But the next day, I repeated the same habit. I wanted to improve my English, but my actions were not matching my goal. I had dreams, but my routine was weak. I wanted fluency, but I was not training myself. I wanted confidence, but I was not speaking. I wanted better vocabulary, but I was not learning words in a useful way. I wanted to sound natural, but I was not listening to natural English. This is the problem many learners face. They want to improve English, but their daily environment does not support English. They study English for a short time, but they spend most of their day with content that does not help them. This was my exact situation. I had English books in my room. I had grammar notes. I had vocabulary lists. I had saved videos about English learning. But I was not consistent. I studied only when I felt motivated. and motivation did not come every day. Some days I studied for 1 hour, then I stopped for 3 days. Some days I learned 10 words, then I forgot them after 1 week. Some days I watched English videos, then I returned to random entertainment again. There was no system. There was no routine. There was no daily practice. One evening, something happened that made me think deeply. I was sitting in my room, scrolling social media as usual. A short English video appeared on my screen. It was a simple video. A man was explaining one English phrase. He said, "Do not say, 'I am agree.' Say, 'I agree.'" It was a small correction, but it caught my attention. I paused the video. I repeated the sentence. "I agree." Then I said the wrong sentence. "I am agree." Suddenly I realized something. I had made this mistake many times before. I used to say, "I am agree," because in my mind, it sounded correct. But in that short video, I learned the correct sentence in less than 30 seconds. That moment opened my eyes. I asked myself, if one short video can teach me one useful thing, what can happen if I watch useful English content every day? Then I looked at my phone differently. For the first time, I did not see my phone as only a distraction. I saw it as a tool. A tool can help you or hurt you. A knife can cut vegetables, but it can also hurt your hand. Fire can cook food, but it can also burn something. A phone can waste your life, but it can also educate your mind. It depends on how you use it. That day, I understood something important. My phone was not the real problem. My choices were the problem. Social media was not the real enemy. My weak use of social media was the enemy. I was not losing because I had a phone. I was losing because I was using my phone without purpose. So I made a decision. I told myself, from today, I will not delete social media. I will train my social media. This decision was powerful for me because many people say, if you want to focus, delete all apps. Maybe that works for some people. But for me, social media was part of my daily life. I used it every day. So instead of fighting it, I decided to use it for my English. I started with one simple step. I changed what I followed. I unfollowed many pages that wasted my time. Not all of them, but many of them. I stopped following accounts that made me compare my life with others. I stopped following accounts that filled my mind with negativity. I stopped following pages that gave me nothing except noise. Then I started following English learning pages. I followed English teachers. I followed pronunciation coaches. I followed creators who explained daily English. I followed pages with simple English conversations. I followed motivational speakers who spoke clearly. I followed audiobook channels. I followed interview clips with subtitles. I followed creators who use simple vocabulary. I followed people who explained grammar in short videos. Slowly, my feed started changing. Earlier, my feed was full of random entertainment. Now my feed started showing English sentences, speaking tips, vocabulary, pronunciation practice, daily conversations, and motivational English clips. This was my first big lesson. If you want to change your learning, change your environment. And today, your social media feed is also your environment. Your feed is not just entertainment. Your feed is training your mind every day. Whatever you see again and again becomes normal for your brain. If you see useless things every day, your mind becomes distracted. If you see English every day, your mind starts becoming familiar with English. If you see good sentences every day, your brain starts remembering patterns. If you hear natural pronunciation every day, your ears start getting trained. If you read captions every day, your vocabulary slowly improves. That is why I did not start with a big grammar book. I started with my feed, because I knew I was already opening social media every day. So I wanted English to appear in front of me naturally. This helped me a lot. Now, even when I opened social media for entertainment, English lessons appeared between videos. Sometimes I watched a funny video. Then suddenly an English phrase video appeared. Sometimes I watched a travel video. Then an English conversation clip appeared. Sometimes I watched a motivational reel. Then a pronunciation tip appeared. My feed became a mixed classroom. I was still using social media, but now social media was teaching me. At first, I did not study seriously for hours. I only watched short English videos with attention. But I followed one rule. Whenever I learned one useful sentence, I repeated it aloud. This was very important. Earlier, I only watched videos silently. But silent watching does not improve speaking quickly. If you want to speak English, your mouth must practice English. So if a video said, "What do you do for a living?" I paused and repeated, "What do you do for a living?" Then I repeated again, "What do you do for a living?" Then I answered in my own way. I make videos. I teach English. I am learning English. This small habit was simple but powerful. I was no longer only watching. I was participating. I was training my mouth. I was training my confidence. I was training my brain to respond. This is where many learners make a mistake. They consume English, but they do not produce English. They watch English videos. They listen to English podcasts. They read English captions, but they never speak. Then they ask, "Why can I understand English, but I cannot speak?" The answer is simple. Understanding and speaking are different skills. Listening trains your ears. Reading trains your eyes. But speaking trains your mouth. So you must speak, even if your sentence is simple. This became my first speaking practice. No teacher was sitting in front of me. No friend was practicing with me. No classroom was needed. I only used my phone, short videos, and my voice. Every day, I repeated useful sentences from social media. I did not repeat everything. I chose sentences that I could use in real life. For example, "I agree with you." That makes sense. "I am not sure about that." Can you explain it again? "I need some time to think." That is a good point. I have never thought about it that way. These were simple sentences, but they made my speaking better. Because real English speaking is not only about difficult words. It is about using useful sentences at the right time. Slowly, I started collecting these sentences. I made a note in my phone called Daily English Sentences. Whenever I found a useful sentence on social media, I wrote it down. Then I practiced it later. I did not write hundreds of sentences. I wrote a few useful sentences every day. Then I repeated them. I used them. I tried to make my own examples. This helped me remember better. Because when you only save a video, you may never watch it again. But when you write the sentence and use it, your brain takes it seriously. Another thing I started doing was reading comments. At first, I thought comments were useless. But then I realized that comments can show real English. People write short opinions in comments. They agree. They disagree. They ask questions. They share feelings. They explain their thoughts. So I started reading comments under English videos. I noticed how people wrote simple sentences. Some comments were like, "This is so helpful." "I needed this today." I totally agree. Can you make a video on this topic? This explanation is clear. Then I started writing my own comments in English. At first, I was scared. I thought, what if my sentence is wrong? But then I told myself, a comment is not an exam. So I started with very simple comments. Great lesson. Thank you for this. This helped me. I learned a new word. Please explain more. These comments were small, but they helped me build courage. Before this, I was afraid to write publicly in English. But slowly, I became comfortable. Then my comments became longer. Instead of writing, great lesson, I started writing. This lesson helped me understand how to use this phrase in daily conversation. Instead of writing, thank you, I started writing, thank you for explaining this in a simple way. I used to make this mistake before. This was writing practice. And writing practice helped my speaking too. Because writing gave me time to think. When I wrote sentences, I understood how to organize my ideas. Then later, speaking became easier because my brain had already practiced forming sentences. This is another powerful lesson. Writing and speaking are connected. If you write daily, your speaking can improve. Because both skills need sentence building. Social media gave me small chances to write every day. Not long essays, just small comments, small replies, small captions, small notes. But those small things built my confidence. In the beginning, my English journey through social media was not perfect. I still got distracted. Sometimes I opened the app for learning and ended up watching random videos. Sometimes I saved too many videos and practiced none. Sometimes I learned a new word and forgot it the next day. Sometimes I felt motivated for 2 days and lazy on the third day. But I did not quit. I understood that the goal was not perfection. The goal was direction. Earlier, social media was taking me away from my goal. Now, even slowly, it was taking me toward my goal. That was enough. I started with small daily rules. Watch 3 useful English videos. Repeat 5 sentences aloud. Write 1 comment in English. Save 1 useful phrase. Listen to 1 short English clip with subtitles. These rules were not difficult, but they made me consistent. And consistency changed everything. After a few weeks, I noticed small changes. I started understanding short English videos faster. I recognized common phrases. I stopped translating every sentence in my mind. I began to feel less afraid of English. I started speaking simple sentences with more confidence. I was still not fluent. I was still making mistakes. But I was no longer stuck. I was moving. And that movement gave me hope. The biggest change in chapter 1 of my journey was not my fluency. It was my mindset. I stopped saying, social media is wasting my time. I started saying, I will use social media to educate myself. I stopped saying, I do not have a speaking partner. I started saying, I can repeat after videos. I stopped saying, I cannot learn English alone. I started saying, I can create my own English environment. That mindset changed my journey. Because English fluency does not start only with grammar. It starts with environment. It starts with daily exposure. It starts with small practice. It starts with the decision to use what you already have. And I already had a phone. I already had internet. I already had social media. Now I only needed discipline. So my first chapter was simple. I changed my feed. I changed my content. I changed my daily rules. I changed how I used my phone. And slowly, my phone became my English classroom. That was the beginning of my journey. Not perfect, not fast, but real. And for the first time, I felt that maybe I could actually become fluent. Not because I had a special talent, but because I had found a daily system that I could follow. Chapter 2. How I turned scrolling into English practice. After I changed my social media feed, I started seeing English content every day. But soon I realized one thing. Watching English videos was not enough. If I only watched videos, liked them, and saved them, my English did not improve much. So I created a simple rule. Watch, repeat, use. Whenever I saw a useful English video, I stopped scrolling. I watched it carefully. Then I repeated the sentence aloud. After that, I tried to use that sentence in my own way. For example, one day I learned the phrase, "I am working on it." I repeated it many times. Then I made my own sentences. I am working on my English. I am working on my confidence. I am working on my speaking skills. This small practice helped me remember the phrase. That day, I understood something important. A word becomes yours only when you use it. A phrase becomes yours only when you speak it. A lesson becomes yours only when you apply it. I also started using short videos for shadowing. Shadowing means listening to a sentence and repeating it like the speaker. I chose short videos, only 15 or 30 seconds long. I listened carefully, noticed the pronunciation, and repeated the sentences again and again. At first, my pronunciation was not clear. Sometimes I was too slow. Sometimes I missed words. But I kept practicing. Slowly, my mouth started becoming comfortable with English sounds. My speaking became smoother. My listening became stronger. And my confidence started growing. I also used subtitles in a smart way. First, I watched the video with subtitles to understand the meaning. Then, I watched the same video without subtitles to train my ears. This helped me connect the sound of English with the written words. I also started writing comments in English. At first, my comments were very simple. Great lesson. This is helpful. Thank you for explaining. But later, I started writing longer comments. This lesson helped me understand how to use this phrase in daily conversation. Writing comments gave me daily writing practice. And writing helped my speaking too, because I was learning how to build sentences. Then I started recording my own voice. I spoke about simple topics, my day, my routine, my goals. A video I watched, a lesson I learned. I did not need difficult topics. I only needed daily speaking practice. One of my best methods was watch and explain. I watched a short video, then I closed the app and explained the video in English in my own simple words. This trained my brain to think in English and explain ideas clearly. Slowly, I stopped only consuming English. I started using English. I repeated. I wrote. I recorded. I explained. I practiced. And this changed everything. Social media was no longer just a place for entertainment. It became my English practice room. Chapter 3. The moment I started speaking with real confidence. After some months, my English started improving. I could understand more videos. I knew more phrases. I could write better comments. I could record my voice. But I still had one fear: speaking with real people. When I spoke alone, I felt okay. But when I had to speak with someone, my mind became nervous. I was afraid of mistakes. I was afraid of pronunciation. I was afraid people would laugh. Then one day, someone messaged me on social media. He said, "I am also learning English. Do you want to practice together?" I was scared, but I said yes. We started with simple text messages. How are you? What did you learn today? Why are you learning English? After a few days, we started sending voice messages. My first voice message was only a few seconds. I said, "Hello, my name is Daniel. I am learning English and I want to improve my speaking." My voice was not perfect. My grammar was not perfect. But I sent it, and that small action gave me confidence. I realized that voice messages are a great bridge between texting and real speaking. They are easier than live calls, but they still train your mouth and confidence. Every day, we chose one simple topic: my daily routine, my favorite habit, my English goal. One lesson I learned, one mistake I made. At first, I spoke for 20 seconds, then 30 seconds, then 1 minute, then 2 minutes. Slowly, speaking became easier. After some time, we had our first short audio call. Only 5 minutes. I was nervous. I made mistakes. I paused many times, but I completed the call. After that call, I understood one powerful truth. Confidence does not come before speaking. Confidence comes after speaking. The more I spoke, the less afraid I became. I also joined English learning groups on social media. I used their daily topics for speaking practice. If they posted, "Talk about your morning routine," I recorded my answer. If they posted, "Explain one lesson you learned today," I spoke about it. These topics helped me speak every day without asking, "What should I talk about?" I also learned useful speaking starters from videos, in my opinion. To be honest, the main reason is, for example, what helped me was, I used to struggle with this. These phrases helped me speak longer and organize my thoughts better. One day, I had a 10-minute English conversation. It was not perfect, but it was natural. I made mistakes, but I did not stop. I forgot some words, but I explained them in simple English. After the call, I felt proud. I remembered the old version of myself who was afraid to speak even one sentence. And now I had spoken for 10 minutes. That day, I understood that fluency is not one big jump. Fluency is small practice repeated every day. One video helped me. One sentence helped me. One comment helped me. One voice message helped me. One conversation helped me. Everything added up. Social media gave me practice, people, topics, phrases, and confidence. But I had to take action. I had to stop hiding. I had to stop only watching. I had to speak. And that was the moment my English journey truly changed. Chapter 4. How English Changed My Confidence and My Life. After many months of using social media for English practice, I noticed something beautiful. English was no longer just a subject for me. English became part of my life. I was not only learning words anymore. I was learning confidence. I was learning discipline. I was learning how to express my thoughts. I was learning how to connect with people. I was learning how to become a better version of myself. In the beginning, I used social media only for entertainment. But later, I used it as a classroom. I followed English teachers. I watched short lessons. I repeated useful sentences. I wrote comments. I recorded my voice. I sent voice messages. I joined English groups. I spoke with real people. And slowly, my English started changing. But the biggest change was not only in my English. The biggest change was inside me. Earlier, I was afraid to speak. I used to think, my English is not good enough. I used to feel nervous before saying even one sentence. But after daily practice, I started believing in myself. I understood that fluency does not come from one perfect day. Fluency comes from small practice every day. One video helped me. One sentence helped me. One comment helped me. One voice message helped me. One conversation helped me. Every small action became part of my growth. This is the lesson I want every English learner to understand. Do not wait for perfect English. Start with simple English. Do not wait for confidence. Build confidence by speaking. Do not wait for a perfect teacher. Use what you already have. Your phone can become your classroom. Your social media feed can become your English environment. Your daily scrolling can become daily learning. But only if you use it with purpose. If you only watch videos, your English may not change. But if you watch, repeat, write, record, and speak, your English will grow. This is the real secret. Use social media actively. When you watch a video, repeat one sentence. When you learn a word, use it in your own sentence. When you see a question, answer it aloud. When you read a comment, write your own comment. When you listen to a speaker, copy their rhythm. When you make a mistake, correct it and continue. This is how you turn social media into English practice. And remember, you do not need to practice for 5 hours. Even 15 minutes every day can change your English if you stay consistent. 15 minutes of real practice is better than 2 hours of random scrolling. Do not focus on how far you have to go. Focus on what you can do today. Today, learn one phrase. Today, speak for 1 minute. Today, write one comment. Today, record your voice. Today, listen to one short English video. Today, take one small step. Because small steps, repeated daily, can create a big transformation. Now, when I look back, I feel proud. Not because my English became perfect, but because I did not quit. I used what I had. I used my phone. I used social media. I used my mistakes. I used my fear. I used my daily time. And slowly, I became a fluent and confident speaker. English changed my life because it changed the way I saw myself. It made me believe that I could learn. It made me believe that I could improve. It made me believe that I could speak to people with confidence. It opened my mind. It gave me courage. It gave me new opportunities. It gave me a new identity. So if you are learning English right now, remember my story. You do not need to be perfect. You only need to start. You do not need to know every word. You only need to use the words you know. You do not need to speak fast. You only need to speak clearly. You do not need to wait for tomorrow. You can start today. Your English journey can change your confidence. Your confidence can change your personality. Your personality can change your opportunities. And your opportunities can change your whole life. So open your phone with purpose. Choose better content. Repeat useful sentences. Write your thoughts. Record your voice. Speak every day. Make mistakes. Learn from them. And never stop. Because one day you will look back and say, "This was the moment my English changed forever." And when your English changes, your life can change too. My English journey did not change in one day. It changed because I made one decision. I decided to stop using social media only for entertainment and started using it for my growth. I stopped only watching. I started repeating. I stopped only saving videos. I started practicing. I stopped saying, "My English is weak." I started saying, "My English is improving." And slowly, everything changed. My confidence changed. My speaking changed. My thinking changed. My life started opening in a new way. So if you are learning English right now, do not feel hopeless. Do not think you are too late. Do not think you cannot become fluent. You can improve. You can speak. You can become confident. But you must start using what you already have. Your phone can become your classroom. Your social media can become your English environment. Your daily scrolling can become daily practice, but only if you use it with purpose. Every day, learn one sentence, repeat one phrase, write one comment, record your voice, speak for 1 minute, listen to one short English video. Take one small step, because small steps, repeated every day, can create a life-changing result. Remember this: fluency is not magic. Fluency is practice. Confidence is not born in silence. Confidence is built by speaking. So, start today. Speak with mistakes. Speak with fear. Speak with simple words. But speak. Because the English you are afraid to speak today can become the English that changes your future tomorrow. And one day, you will look back and say, "That was the moment my English changed forever." If this story inspired you, subscribe to this channel and keep practicing your English every day. Because when you improve your English, you do not only improve your language, you improve your confidence, your opportunities, and your whole life.